Alright, so this is Gun, and this is a Gunslinger video. Pretty much doing the same thing as last time, capture-wise. It's a little brighter in the day today, so we get some good light. And I can talk a little bit more normally because I figured out this stupid Logitech setting called right sound should be called ass sound because it sucks. Alright, so Gunslinger. Again, this is an intro to advanced mechanics for the Gunslinger style on Devil May Cry 3 SE. So, basically, Gunslinger is unfortunately extremely difficult to master and to really play well compared to Swordmaster. I mean, there's some really complex stuff you can do with Swordmaster, but it doesn't really pertain to single player. It's really more advanced style type techniques, some advantageous, some not. Anyway, Gunslinger, I have to go into the controller configuration for a little bit, unfortunately, even though I am cutting a lot of this out by saving you guys some intro stuff and whatnot. Anyway, so Gunslinger involves a lot of buffering, and if you're not familiar with buffering from fighting games or anything, there's a few different types. Hold bufferings and rapid input bufferings are what's applicable in Gunslinger for DMC3 SE. So basically you have your style button on charge, which is my R1 in this instance, and then you have your shoot button on charge, which is my R2 in this instance. So I'm actually holding these buttons like this the majority of the time I'm in Gunslinger. Becomes a little bit uncomfortable. There are some variations with different guns, but I'm using shotgun, which involves a gun charge on shoot, and the Ebony and Ivory also gun charge on shoot. Style charge is Artemis, which I'm using right now, so I'm using Artemis and shotgun. So yeah, if you really want to be able to not lose charge by putting the inputs back up and whatnot during actual combos, you want to have, well, not necessarily combos, but combat in general, you want to have dual buffers going on, which is dual charges in this case. The other stuff like rapid input buffering has to do with actual gameplay, so I'm not going to cover that yet. I have to actually play the game to do that. Then I have my L1 to lock on. So 3 buttons up top to hold. And if you really get crazy with Devil May Cry, you know that there's D to E, Devil Trigger Explosion, which requires a charge as well. And you can even do a melee charge on Rebellion, so you can have 5 buffers going on charges. So it makes it kind of crazy. Anyway, my melee is now triangle, which is my priority because I still do my swipes, my swipe cancels. If you refer to the first video, I already explained my swipe cancels a little bit better. In this instance, I'm using Cerberus and Beowulf. I wanted to use Nevin. The thing with Nevin is that it plays so differently, and it's a huge transition from this first video to this one. So I wanted to stick with something that I could also show how it's the vanilla aspects, which is the non-style based attacks, like how Beowulf and Cerberus swing interact with a lot of different techniques that way. So anyway, the controller configuration, jump, whatever, jump melee, and then I have my dual buffers. L2 is still my weapon switch because it is just natural for me to have L2 on weapon switch, and weapon switches are much more high priority on the fly to really flip between them. Cancel animation frames on Cerberus straight into Beowulf and vice versa. But Gunslinger swaps from shotgun to Artemis, you have to recharge, so you got to rebuffer. So you don't have to have that technically going crazy. There's some instances where, it's nice to transition back and forth, but a lot of the weapons, like, Kalina Ann and, Spiral are really slow on startup and fire, so you don't have to go, crazy swapping weapons. So in this instance, my X button is my swap, and swapping weapons on, at the rate of Gunslinger is extremely hard to explain because it's mostly just, you know, practice. So let's get into it. So I did warm up for a little bit because that's what Gunslinger requires. I mean, it's just that type of style. You can't get away with going into it slow. One thing is that I will pull back likely when I'm doing rapid input buffer, which I'll actually just cover right now since I'm talking about it. So rapid input buffer requires you know, hitting a button rapidly for, you know, proper inputs. So you know, rapid inputs in this game are, you know, all over the place. You gotta mash, you know. So God, it's harder to play Gunslinger and talk at the same time than Swordmaster. Anyway, so rapid input buffer on shotgun is you know, the point blank, I believe it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try to do it without pulling back, basically. See, there you go. We got 4 shots right there, and it's really, you know, hard on the wrists and hands having to do that a lot. So that's rapid buffering. I'm glad I was able to do it without you know, going crazy with it. So yeah, that's good. So next we're gonna go to, what should we do next? I'm just gonna show the vanilla aspects of why I picked these 2 weapons. Basically, you know, they have a lot of cancel opportunities on vanilla, like swing, which I was doing right there. So it looks like I'm doing like this is revolver, by the way. So revolver is you know, your forward attack, and you can cancel on it in a lot of different times, even really late. See, early, you know, that's the great thing about revolver. And you can chain revolver right into swing, and it looks like it's almost the same attack, but it's not, because you're in the air after the first cancel. So I'm gonna, you know, fire this guy up, and that's the second one is gonna be a swing cancel. See, that's a swing. It's not a revolver. I'm in the air. Say if you're in the corner, you can do plenty of them, you know. So like when you do those chains are extremely difficult, and that's why it really like almost pains me to try to describe this Gunslinger stuff. But you know, for example, this cancel, you know, if you look at my inputs, I'm not really I'm like shifting tempos. You know, it's just really weird like that. So when you start out a revolver to swing cancel on ground state, you know, you sort of do this weird tempo, and I'm gonna sort of walk you through it. So basically, it's attack, forward, and then it's like I hit jump at almost the base point. See, it's like it's not a swipe cancel or anything. You can see how I transition from that to a swipe cancel, because it has this weird input between revolver and swing where you can sort of just like cancel out of it like that. So, you know, how can I really describe that too well? Not really. It's just over time, and you can control the height, you know, based on how quick you cancel, but you can't really swipe cancel. See, it's too fast on the input and you go up, so it has to be some cancel into swing. I know, it's the weirdest shit, man. I know. I just you know, figured out over time how you do that kind of stuff. Anyway, you can also do aerial swings off Beowulf, you know, and then, you know, there's different tempos. So I tried to describe tempos in the last video. You could see that I'm dropping a bit because my tempos are a little bit off right now. Swing is the most tempo-based attack in this game, and I'll try to show you why. You can have really slow swings. You can have max speed. Look at that. Look how slow that is. And it's just ridiculous. And then, you know, ooh, I got that glitch. I got the glitch going on. Got a release. A little reticule glitch. And then you can have max speed. But the thing is, with the tempo, you have to start out at the right tempo or you lose it. So that's max tempo, but you can see I dropped it. And it's not because I just went too fast. It's so easy to go too slow or too fast with swing cancels. It's just how it is. And it's a big thing with, you know, Gunslinger. I'm going to do a little fancy thing here if I can do it. I call it the stall cancel. Stall swing, actually. When I come up, and then I fire, and then I resume. I did it first try. That's good stuff. So, yeah, you can actually be a little bit more elaborate with that. You know, do a bunch more. But that's the stall cancel, which is actually not bad for like a single player move. You know, I mean, you're up in the air. You know, it looks like it's just being stylish, but it's just not. It can be used in multiple ways. So again, watching my controller is probably the best you're gonna get compared to listening to me, because unless I stop and really think, I mean, I gotta process a lot of shit right now. So when things come to mind, I'll just try to rip off whatever thing. So for example, here I'm gonna bring out Artemis, and I'm gonna do a style attack. Not good for a single player, but if you guys ever wanted to know how it works, that's not gonna work. It's those combo videos where you I forget what I call it in the guide, but it's I think I call it a multi-hit something or other. But it's basically where you use Artemis to do a stall, and then you rip off. See? It's actually not as hard as it looks. You know, timing-wise, it depends on the weapon, and there's a lot of multi-hits. You know, there's Rebellion with Million Stab, and then there's combo. Is it combo 3 to whatever the hell it is with A&R, and you have you have this combo for Beowulf. Beowulf's timing is basically you want to fire either when you land or right before you land with Artemis full charge. You want a full charge because each orb is going to juggle. If you don't have a full charge, then you know, he's probably going to drop too soon. So you can either land or you do it right before you land. So that's a little bit early, and I tried to fire off. There we go. That was a pretty good one. Anyway, you know, I'm not going to go too far into that. You can do it. You know, it's not a great, you know, single player thing because it's mostly for style, but I thought I would just, you know, go over it. Okay, so let me just talk about the shotgun, which is just awesome. I freaking love the shotgun, seriously. It's just such a good weapon. You know, you do have to buffer it, you know, almost all the time, because you get those red shots, you know, the charge shots. Those things are mean. I mean, they got ridiculous knockback. And they even can, like, beat the shit out of, you know, Devil Trigger enemies, to be honest. It even gets those. So, you know, the shotgun also has that point-blank buffering that I did before. And the easiest way to get it out on turbo mode, which is this, is to start with fireworks and then chain it like that. Because turbo can be, you know, a little bit demanding on the inputs, so... Boop, boop, boop. Another cool, you know, little stylish thing that I just thought of, let's see here, is to do a Artemis sphere into Shotgun Blast. Or no, Acid Rain, sorry. Or whatever the hell it is. Acid Rain. Is it Acid Rain? Now, I actually pulled it off, but you see that I was wigging out so much on the controller that I lost my target. I still got the damage, but it looked a little bit jarring. You know, maybe I can try that again. Let's see. What was it again? It was Sphere, right? So I could do like a knock and then a acid. Come on. Hold on. Bear with me. He's gonna die. Anyway, you know, again, I'm not gonna spend 5 minutes trying to pull off this, you know, fancy stuff. You know, you could do it on your own if you want. So another one is, you know, the stall, Artemis stall. I mean, it's just, you know, using Artemis and a launcher to keep them suspended in the air, and you can follow up with, you know, your attacks. It would be very handy in single player, especially on enemies that you know in DMD that are gonna like DT or something. You want to get some stun on them, so I mean, it doesn't take long. Look, 2 hits, boom, boom, and he's up. So, you know, when you're in the air like that, you know, you're not vulnerable, which is, you know, the best thing you can do, especially with like you know, Nevin-based you know, weapon combos, because Nevin is just fantastic for stalling Dante on its own and not even factoring in stall from Artemis. Okay. So, okay. I'm just gonna actually just do a little concentrate on playing. And if I can concentrate on playing, maybe I'll think of some stuff. Again, you can see I dropped the tempo right there. The tempo is just huge for Artemis swing. And again, I don't want to shift too much away to emphasize that this is just all, you know, you gotta, you know, remember, I don't know why I keep trying to cancel on high. That just doesn't make sense. I keep wanting to do a dive kick into a cancel on the stall, and it just doesn't really work well like that. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. It's a stall, but you want to, in this instance, it's easier to air hike. See? Right into it? I don't know. You were watching me whiff, and I'm like, he's like, what the hell is he doing? Well, I don't know what I was doing. So again, I shifted away, but it's just all about this buffering. And I didn't talk about this yet, but it's about when you know to weapon switch too. And you might be able to pick it up, but I sort of just do it, you know, automatically. Just by reflex. You know, if you look at my hands, you'll see that after I fire an Artemis shot or something, you'll see that I just weapon swap, because I just kind of conditioned my gameplay to do that. So boom, boom, and then I swapped. You know, some of that was just from the combo videos and stuff like that, and just, you know, having to do it that way. But there's really nothing, you know, you can swap whenever you want, and when you're dual buffering, you know, you don't waste any time. You don't waste any charge time, because you're buffering the whole time. So when I switch to shotgun, I know I'm going to get 100% charge rate, even though for some reason I didn't really wait that long. So yeah, it is really all about this buffering. Oh, before I forget, Artemis. You may notice that I'm not releasing the style button. This is a huge thing that I'm so glad I just remembered. I don't know why I keep doing that. Artemis, you want to cancel out your charge using shoot. It doesn't actually shoot like the normal laser. All it does is just cancel out the animation and brings out the orbs. So look, fire, and then it comes out, instead of doing this release charge thing. Because first of all, it's easier to just do this, and second of all, it's more efficient. I've had a lot of you know, times where it got really screwy, where it didn't come out, or, you know, whatever. You know, somebody who actually still plays that way could tell you better, because I moved away from releasing multi-lock, which is this, by the way. This is multi-lock. Releasing the style button to, you know, release multi-lock, you know, forever ago. So all I remember is that there's huge pains in the ass things going on with it, and you should just use the shoot button. It's just way better. So just do it. Let's see. So I'm gonna do a little bit more. You can see that I'm doing cancels, like, right off launch and stuff like that. Gunslinger just has so much stuff. There's just so much stuff. You could go on forever on the amount of options I have just from this one weapon set. It's really that broad. So, man, he went flying back. Just die. Hate when they get knocked freaking that far back. The other thing is when you're dual buffering, you can't run when you're charging Artemis, because he does this thing. I'm gonna aim the whole time. So if you want to move around and stuff and not release your charge, then you could just whip out your shotgun, and you can, as long as you release your lock on, you can move around. But say you can't do that with Artemis because it's stupid. Dante just wants to stare the freaking dude down. You can't do that. And while you're playing, like I said, a lot of this is really best for really being flashy. So it's not like you have to have 100% buffering rate by holding these buttons down. And when I'm playing, usually I do is I release the style button, because this is a huge thing too. If you're trying to be really fancy and stuff like that, you can't buffer at the start. Like, you can't just go like this on your shotgun and just start buffering, because you're firing. See, you can't do that. You got to have it going beforehand. Artemis is different though, because multi-lock doesn't fire anything, so you can actually just start buffering, and it's no big deal. So you could release it like this, and then when you switch on, just bring up the buffer, bring up the multi-lock. The other thing is you can cancel your charge buffer like starter with melee. So look, boom. See, I'm canceling my charge. Let me illustrate with shotgun, because it's a much better illustration. So look, I'm not buffering, but if I just do a simple attack, then I'm okay. He didn't fire because he was lagged. He was lagged on the melee. So usually, if I'll style charge. Again, you can't, like, if you're trying to charge for Artemis and I can start on the shotgun. No, that's not gonna work. So fireworks come out. I can't do that. So yeah, you can basically animation cancel. So look, I'm only holding the back button because I'm like, this isn't that bad. You hold it all the time, when you're playing and whatnot. So whatever. So when I start to go in, actually I'm going backwards. Sorry. When I go into the animation, here, just kill this guy. Okay. So blank slate, handoff. Let me do this right this time. Dude is gonna come up, and I'm gonna I got my shotgun out, and I don't want it to come out. Look, see? No one's the wiser. Boop, boop, boo, doo, 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 doo. Little bunny hop there. Gunslinger. Take me 45. Yeah, that doesn't. You really, you really have to rip those friggin' inputs. I can't keep my hands rested and do that shit. It just doesn't work. Launch into double fire. This like shotgun blast. This like just double blast can actually be a jump cancel or a enemy step cancel, which I haven't whipped out that term in this video yet, but that's all these little cancels I'm doing are enemy step cancels, jumping off the enemy. Covered this in the last video. You can actually do a shotgun blast and cancel off it with an ESC. I do it all the time in the combo videos, especially off free ride and stuff like that. You get into the corner and see, you can see that it was actually an ESC because I didn't air hike. If you don't see that would be not an ESC. You kind of just got to get above them. See, that is an ESC right there. And the one thing you may notice is how fast you can cancel a free ride with Gunslinger. You don't have to do that whole rebound jump that happens when you kick off on the free ride, especially with shotgun. You can actually almost basically instantly rip off red shots right afterwards. See? I mean, you don't have to wait at all. So if you're doing a combo and you want to cancel straight in, boom, boom, and then you're going. I'm not sure why my charge shot didn't come out. So you can really. So if you got one enemy and they're not DT'd and you want to get them out before they DT or something like that, it's pretty easy to just like get them into a free ride, whip out your shotgun, and boom, and just beat the shit out of them in the corner. See, this guy doesn't have a prayer. Okay, I'm past 25 minutes. I'd like to cover more topics on Gunslinger. This is just going to be a really intro of me just playing and ripping off, comments as I go. Like I said, this is harder than Swordmaster to talk through because Swordmaster I can do on autopilot. So what I'll do is I'll do a little bit chatting in the thread, try to come up with some ideas and maybe have a nice bullet point next time. But this isn't bad. I think you guys get a good idea on how it works and all the buffering. It's all about buffering. So all my little blah blah blah, free ride, blah blah blah. No, it's just this whole friggin' style is about buffering. It's about buffering and knowing when to bring it up and bring it down, and when to use it and do cancels and when not to use it. And automating your weapon swaps and your gun swaps. So a lot of it is just check out the controller, and then when you're doing what, use tips like how you do the Artemis cancel and stuff like that, and kind of go from there. But I'll try to cover a little bit more next time, especially with Nevin, because Nevin is a whole another game. It might not take too long to cover what Nevin can do, but all the different combinations with Nevin, like especially Rebellion with Nevin, even anything with Nevin can really constitute like a whole different thing. It has just all these crazy buffering opportunities between not just melee, but charge attacks, and from Kalina and to Spiral to anything. It just gives you time. So we'll cover Nevin next time I get a chance. And now let's see what I can do in 2 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. To the heavens. Gunslinger is fun, man. This is my favorite style. And it's just, like, I think I'm pretty good at this style, but, I can just keep getting better at it. It's been mentioned that Devil May Cry 4 is just almost untappable because of all the options. That's very true. But if you wanted to talk about a style where you could just keep going and going and going in Devil May Cry 3 SC, it's definitely Gunslinger. Artemis, looks like it's the one that has the most versatility, but the tricks kind of run out. But it's the combination of your different weapons and stuff. Your use of Nevin and your use of Beowulf for rushdown, and the fact that you have vanilla cancels like Swing and Killer B. It really, and like you can do the stall, and you know, especially in single player with all the different enemies, because, you know, your tactics can constantly change depending on Gunslinger. So I kind of gush off Gunslinger. Anyway, that's it for this time. Talk to you guys soon. Later.